Kids, we're back. Bootsy taking on Shadow Fox. Winners bracket, of course. We'll try and catch some games to losers bracket, but it seems like they're running a pretty tight ship down at over 9k. Kids, he knows what's going on. Bootsy for king. I mean, no bias. Looks like we got a pretty... Well, we know it's secret. We know it's Secret Paladin, but I have no idea what Shadow Fox is playing. Could be the X25 Shaman, it could be crazy OP token Shaman. It could be anything, man. That's what's going on. Anyway, first game, guys. We'll see what turns out. Yeah, I'm keen. Keen as beans. Pity that Shadow Fox didn't get his Jousting off successfully. That sucks. Oh well, so sad, so sad. Did I add Shadow Fox? Ooh, don't have Shadow Fox. Let's get him in there. I think he was one of the ones that, yeah. He was one of the ones that challenge may have given me a dodgy battle tag. So we'll see if we can get him up. Cool. But it does look like pretty normal Shaman. It looks like normie Shaman, I'm going to call it, because it's essentially just a fairly normal Shaman deck. In a nutshell. Plays a lot of tokens, tries to get, might even play a Bloodlust. It could be the new token variant, which uses the Assailant of some sort. It's like a dude on a Kodo. So we'll see where that comes out. Those, definitely looking at some tempo plays around turn 6, turn 7, turn 8. Possibly even a little bit earlier at turn 4 if you can get some more totems out rather. Again, even though it is silenced, the Menatide totem does count as a totem, so for all the totem-related shenanigans, it's pretty bad to clear, but Bootsy may consider clearing it. If he's been playing a lot of ladder, I've been totally rolled by leaving silenced totems on the board. Regardless, we see the Noble Sack prop. Bootsy's got some pretty good answers to this, though. He's got a Consecration. I'm not sure whether he wants to Consecrate, though. I would maybe think that Juggler Dude's alright. It's kind of to say. Okay, that answers it for us. We're definitely consecrating here. Easy. I'm curious as to why Shadow Fox would play to that. I think maybe he could have just kind of done nothing there. It's hard to say when the Bloodstone Flame Tongue gets you enough totem, but I guess he had a good 4-drop, so that's fine. Pity that Bootsy doesn't have a silence here, but we will see him return with his own Shredder, which I'm sure he's praying that the juggle lands on, and then a Doomsday comes out, and the hilarity continues. Ooh, actually that's alright. He might have been looking for... Are there any 3/4 2-drops? Yeah. Of course, it's the best one for Shaman, the Totem Golem, which I think is OP. I think Totem Golem's totally broken, but that's me. You tell me what your opinion is in chat, kids. I'll be in chat, because I chat. Me chatter, Sue chatter. Wow, bit of a swing turn there with Fire Elemental. I can't see reason to leave the Night Juggler up, so that's fine. Although, Bootsy just lucking in a mech synergy, I guess. No, this is a mech deck. This is equivocally Secret Paladin. So, yeah, I'm... Where's my chat? Where's my chat, bruh? Ooh, yeah. Yeah, so, again, he would probably actually... Yeah, he's actually alright with this, and then perfectly curves out. Although... Ooh. I'm not so sure. I can't see Shadow Fox's hand, so it's hard for me to say whether that was the correct play, but I would think that usually knowing that you pull out a Noble Sack, Mysterious Challenger might have been the correct play there. Particularly to bait out a Hex via Sludge Belcher if you need it to do stuff. This play definitely playing into the Elemental Overlord or whatever it is. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm saying I think a Lightning Storm's alright here, even if you roll low on the Pilot Shredder. There's really no good way for a Paladin to do 1 damage without taking 6 in return. I'm just problematic. The other reason to not use the play the Shredder and or rather considering the serious challenger on 6, is that it is a really good curve. And now that he certainly botched it. He could Sludge Belcher plus Dude here, but if the Shaman's able to clear a fair amount, then it'd be left in this awkward situation where the Sludge Belcher just dies to Fire Elemental. So, Shadow Fox saying his prayers, hoping not for a Doomsday or anything super radical, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Shock's not too bad here. Ooh, that's Shock with the spell damage. Oof. Oof. You're missing my little pouting face I'm making here. Although again, Bootsy, pulling the goods. Consecration. Consecration across the nation. Hell yeah. Do it. Do it! As Batman would say. Ooh. Okay, instead choosing to go for the not making Shadow Fox hate him play. Definitely debatable on that one. I probably would have honestly consecrated and kept a token board because you're still looking for some of these bigger swing cards to come out of Shaman. Because they got a lot. They're notorious for just having, if they want, really high quality cards that sure they get overloaded, but you're a 10 mana, you don't care. They're always going to be playing a lower curve deck, usually, considering that their card drawer at the moment is terrible. We'll see how it goes. I'm thinking this will work out for Shadow Fox, but I want to see Bootsy win, obviously. I don't know. I'm torn. He is over playing Secret Paladin, aka Christmas Paladin, aka O Tenenbaum, makes me quit ladder. It makes me quit the reg ladder. Let's see where the Shadow Fox teched in. This would be a good opportunity for a Kazan if he's got it. He's a bit overloaded, and that would make for a pretty weak 3 play, but I think Kazan's not the worst thing here. Problem though with Kazan is that it only steals 1, and Blizzard didn't think that they'd make a card that brings all the secrets, so yeah. Something I do like to talk about with Secret Paladin though is people try to figure out what's good about this deck. It's pretty easy. A, you get a 6/6 for 6 and then a whole bunch of crap, but B, it thins your deck like nobody's biz. Every time you pull out a bunch of crappy cards out of your deck, you're actually making your card drawer, well, way better. So if over the course of the game you can play 2 on-tempo 6/6s that are good in themselves, and then they have all these secret effects, and then you strip a whole bunch of crappy cards out of your deck, you now just have, what, like a 20-card deck? And then 20 of those cards can be good. So I think that's what the people sometimes misunderstand when they're directing a bit of their hate at the deck. And now you know what to rant about on Reddit. But regardless, it still comes down to card drawers, so, you know, they can have pretty bad games. Shaman, however, coming up with the answers. Dealing the goods. Hoping to maybe have a Hex here, or possibly plays for Silence in the game. We're all praying he didn't just time out, but again, spectator mode was a nice delay. Ooh. It's interesting to think whether he was playing around Noble Sack. I imagine he was. If it had been a bit last minute, however. Anyway, pretty good truce over here. I imagine we'll see him take out the Drake and Dude. He does have a Blessing of Kings that I guess he wished he could have used, but you don't want to stack all your eggs in one basket. Particularly, yes, the Shaman has had a lot of good opportunities to use his Hex so far, so there's a good chance that it's not the last 2 cards, but you don't want to ruin it, because then you just get out-tokened. Remembering that, in an ideal world, the Shaman has 4 tokens, well, 3 tokens up, and then he just gets dudes, pretty much. So Shaman, you can get this weird stalemate where you're both just summoning 1/1s forever. Not that it happens much. Finally, Bootsy he reaps the seed he sowed for keeping that consecration. Definitely a good time to muster here. And awesome time to just pull a Quartermaster out of nowhere as well. We'll see how that works out. Shaman definitely on the ropes here. Shadow Fox hoping... What is Shaman's tempo cast these days? He could be looking for Feral Spirits, would be alright. Interesting that Bootsy didn't choose to attack. Maybe a misplay. Bit finger on the trigger. Oh! There it is! Whoa, that card looks cool. Not as cool as like Vortex, but yeah, that's Shaman. Game Shaman. Well, I mean, like, game is in the sense that the game just flicked over to be shamanistic.
The light protects me.
I don't think Blessing of Kings is the worst play you can make here. Reasoning being, if he puts it on the Divine, if he puts it on the dude, then the Divine Shield stays up at worst. Plus, I don't think the way this is looking, there's not going to be many other opportunities for him to have two people out, and while it is a 0-2, that makes any future Blessing of Kings pretty terrible. Yeah, I think we just saw Bootsy maybe misplay twice, which is a little bit brutal. Although again, Doomsayer. Doomsayer is gonna Doomsayer. Piloted Doomsayer. Tuskar dude comes out. Ah, this is not good. This is not going good. There's plenty of opportunities for Bootsy to take it back. Another Mysterious Challenger will do it. Another Consecration can do it. It's simply back and forth, I'll say that. I'm really, really wishing I'd seen him use Blessing of Kings early. I don't think he would have been as punished as he thought he was going to be. Mysterious Challenger, not pulling much, but again, you're better off having Avenge now than top decking it later. This Avenge could actually be pretty big. But again, here you go. Here is the Secret Paladin again. Pulls the 6/6 on curve, helps him use all his mana, gets the last crappy cards out of his deck, and he gets a free Avenge. Pfft. Blizzard, why you no nerf this, but okay. Shadowfox possibly looking for another Elemental Destruction wouldn't be awful. Not that he'd be able to clear.
What to do?
We'll see. See what goes down. Lightning Storm's not the worst thing. Does mean there's going to be a pretty big old this dude. But again, we haven't seen any hexes come out of Shadowfox. I think it's usually pretty typical for shamans to play double hex. They're not like mage in that they could just kind of throw their removal around willy-nilly. Particularly, shamans sometimes have the problem of having a finite amount of damage. Even though they have tokens, it still sometimes feels like they're limited to these like weird wacky numbers on like Alakir or yeah. I would, if I personally play double hex, so I'm sure Shadowfox is hoping that, you know, someone saves his life tonight or something.
Put your faith in the light.
Yeah, it's around this time we start looking for lethal. Not looking for love, looking for lethal. These little what are they called? Stone Claws have been doing work. I think I've seen them. We've seen them tank something like 20 points of damage here already. Ooh. That's it. I mean, that's how Shaman rolls. Like, you keep pulling the Stone Claws. You keep your finger on the trigger and your dreams can come true is what I'm saying. Problem now is that he's got two scary hex targets. Personally, I'm hexing Tyrion, just because the weapon is terrifying. And they're the same health, so there's really no huge points of difference. It might be something to consider there to possibly damage one of those 6/6s and force him to trade in. It won't force a favorable trade, but if you don't really care about the 1/1s so much at this point, then why not bias Bootsy into getting rid of the one that you don't want to deal with? He might have a Harrison as well. That would be a pretty good opportunity to make Tyrion the better trade. So yeah, Shaman looking for the answers. Another Elemental Storm would do it here. Elemental Storm would nicely clear the board. Oh, it does damage to all minions, doesn't it? Yeah, actually it wouldn't. Well, game one goes Bootsy! Bootsy! You know, see Bootsy. So it's what you're looking at right now. So game one goes to Bootsy. Shadowfox playing a pretty normie Shaman. Not finding his hexes the right times. Finding a bit too many of those token cards. It happens. Not being able to get control of the board. Bootsy maybe making a couple of misplays there. When it came to using his Blessing of Kings and not attacking once. But again, yeah, didn't matter. In the end, he pulled a Linkin Park. So, Bootsy.
The games begin.
Pulling out the mage. This is, if I remember, like a Flamewaker mage. It's not very mechy. It's more plays an Antonidas. It plays a whole bunch of different things. So, Shadow Fox choosing to pull out what I'm presuming to be a Secret Paladin, but it could be Cantodin or Mechadin or Murlocidin, or just something Splash with Murloc Knight, because that thing is adorable and it needs to be played more. Either way, Bootsy not seen a lot of minions. I guess Unstable Portal counts as something. But yeah. We'll see. Stable Portal, pretty good. Bit of weird play. I think there's nothing wrong with ping. There's actually nothing wrong with ping at this point. Shield minibots aren't a super big problem. I'm gonna use Mirror Image to get through. Paladin not finding any 2-drops. Pretty normal for Paladin, but This is the Archmage Antonidas I was talking about. We saw that if you missed the tail end of the Bootsy Alphax game, we did have a situation where Antonidas for the win, so look out for that. I didn't see a Ronin in Bootsy's deck, so I'll be interested to see whether he does play it. I'd imagine he would, although that would make it pretty top heavy, so to speak. I'm not ruining anything, by the way, by putting in these updates on Facebook, because it's publicly available on the challenge. Anyway, we'll see how this cruises along. Bootsy choosing to get his Flamewaker a little bit early. He's slightly punished by the True Silver. But that's fine. He managed to kill some dudes pretty effectively. So, plus waste through the 1/1 weapon, which is alright. He does have another one. I think Flamewakers are one of those cards that their effect is really nice. Yeah, their effect's really nice. But you don't mind wasting one. Interesting that he would get the Baron Rivendare for 1 and choose to play it on curve. I'm not sure whether I totally agree with that. I think maybe if you're playing cards like... What Death Rattle cards did Mage play? Ronin? I'd say Ronin again, but he could be playing Ronin. That would be a really, 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 really scary Ronin. If he's playing something like... Not that anyone is flashing in Sneeds anymore, but he could be. Sylvanas? I'm not sure whether you even fit Sylvanas in a deck like this. I guess there's points of merit to keeping their Baron Rivendare and not keeping it. It does... You're hoping that it pulls out a True Silver Champion, although you've got a nice Frostbolt to protect anything, and you've got Mirror Image. Not that that'll do much against the Consecration. I'll be curious to see what Shadowfox pulls out here. Could play that like Tusk thing. I like that Tusk thing. I think that's definitely one of the better Paladin cards that came out of the set. If he's playing Solemn Vigil, he could pop like a turn 5 Solemn Vigil is not the worst thing. I think against Mage, you're like the dude factor isn't super strong, as in it's not like your entire game plan is I have to get a dude every turn, because that makes Mage's entire plan just ping you repeatedly. It could be interesting to see whether Shadowfox possibly thinks that Bootsy's playing some sort of Inspire Mage. Which I guess is another deck that mages play these days. We'll see. We'll see. I'm looking forward to this. I've seen great things from Bootsy before. Never seen Shadowfox. Nah. I'm actually really looking. I really said to myself, hey, I'm gonna get my act together and cast this thing, and here I am. And we'll get these videos up so that, even though it's a pretty cash tournament, there's cash money on the line though. Cash money. It still needs to be somewhere for the record.
Reporting for duty.
And yeah, it's Hearthstone Melbourne. This is Melbourne Hearthstone, Deer Park, but that's still technically Melbourne. I'll be curious to see whether he can convince Shadowfox that the Archmage isn't a looming threat, and maybe even keep his Sork Apprentice on the board for 2 turns, because he only needs to keep it alive while Archmage is there. So that would require Shadowfox not to have Qualities, Consecrates, Oh, I mean, any of the removal they got. They don't have any direct. They don't have a lot of direct removal, and it's not like it's vulnerable to get in my sights, beast in my sights rather. But interesting. It looks like he is going. He's valuing the mirror image play. I think he's thinking along the line I'm thinking, and saying, hey, I don't want to give it away that 3/2 is important. There's enough scary minions on the board, so to speak, that he would kill the other two any day of the week. I'm just trying to think, what is he... If he gets the second one...
Follow the rule.
No, it wouldn't really matter. He needs them to live for a fair while. Yeah, okay, Shadowfox seeing around this. Oh, no. No, goes for the Flamewaker. Ooh. So he definitely thinks...
Reporting for duty.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. Interesting. I would have honestly taken the other two. In my situation, yeah, sure, Flamemaker's a scarier card, but the other two are scary kind of in a wacky way. Because he's just lost. Jeez.
Well played.
So yeah, talking about could he crumble. I mean, obviously that's debatable in the way that Flamemaker would have put 2 more damage on the board. So so Flamemaker would have possibly had 6 chances to do 2 damage to the face. Yeah, so I don't think it really mattered in the end there. Bootsy is going 2-0 though. Interesting choice. Shows you that these games have consequence.
I will fight with honor.
He rolled the dice and things happen. I kind of wish that we had Shadowfox added, but we don't. So we just guess. I know that Bootsy does play his Fatigue Warrior, double Death Lords in this one, so looking forward to that. I did see as well, he's got the bouncy, he's the Bouncing Blade variant, as well as, he plays something else pretty wacky. We'll see. Shadowfox choosing to go with his Paladin again. Interesting that nowhere in that last game did we see a Mysterious Challenger, so this may just be a generic Paladin deck. This is... It's not pros, not everyone has a full collection, so... I mean, I play Paladin without Mysterious Challenger, to minimal success, but... the problem that Fatigue Warrior can have against Paladin is that, even with Jessica True Heart out, come and gone, Paladin's hero power is better than Warrior's, in the sense that it's exponential. So for Warrior, if Paladin goes late, and he just keeps duding, then Warrior's hero power becomes 1 and -1 over time. And he could just lose. So, particularly this new Fatigue Warrior, it does play Revenge. I haven't seen it play... Yeah, I haven't seen it actually play anything like the...
Put this apple on your head.
Sorry, I'm just going to fix this up. So, I haven't seen it play anything like a Whirlwind. So, yeah. That's kind of a problem that the deck will have against the 1/1s, but I don't know. Shadowfox plays it slow. He knows what's coming. He knows we're in for a long game. We're here for the long haul. If you were looking to take a toilet break, now's the time, because no one's exactly going to explode in the next 5 minutes. That's fine. Wow. Shadowfox pulling out the Quartermaster. I was about to say, I hope he has a Quartermaster here. Bootsy looking at his hand and not having that many answers to this. Deathlord's definitely one of them, but it's a question of Bootsy maybe helping his opponent win. I'll be surprised if we see him go for Slam Execute. I think maybe Bouncing Blade could be an appropriate play here. He's looking at it. Okay, so... You're looking for the Revenge, but you're also looking to get below 12 health. That means you're also looking for Jester True Heart, which means you're actually looking for card drawer, which makes that slam play good, I guess? It's hard to say. I am maybe as well would have attacked one of the 3/3s. Because Bouncing Blade really isn't going to do a lot of work with a 1 health minion on the board. But it does do really well with the Deathlord. Deathlord more than minion, because Deathlord's got 8 health, so it'll be fine. It's got a lot of removal. It's a slow game. We're not looking for anything to explode, but...
Reporting for duty.
I don't know. I'm not sure who I'm worried for here. Depends on the quality of Paladin's hand and what he gets out of this. Hope for his sake he's not playing Doomsayers. Not that you would, but... Okay, yeah, pretty solid play. No battle cries missed out here. So, Bootsy would be looking for... Ugh,
Well played.
it's not well played yet. Okay, choosing to go for the well play. I maybe would have gone with something like... I think he could have lived from there. I think maybe there was a chance to scraggle along, but it's his choice. He probably saw it before me. And maybe not looking to play like a 20-minute game. I'm not aware of the actual full rulings on this tournament, so it could have been a time limit case. In which case, you're better off putting your time towards edging out a harder deck than the Paladin matchup. Cool. Okay. Again, seeing the
Fatigue Warrior, hopefully fatiguing. Definitely a better answer. Despite would have been a card you'd be looking for in the last matchup, actually. That's definitely a whirlwind that I'd say every Warrior deck is playing. Jessica in the opening hand feels pretty good. I haven't seen any Fatigue Warriors play Emperor, but it's a possibility if Bootsy wants to really whack it out.
Again, we see Shadow Fox losing the coin flip on his Gadgetzan. It'll be interesting to think about whether... Because, I mean, people have been playing around with Zombie Chow for a fair while as a 2/3 1-drop. And now that we have an alternative to Zombie Chow in the way of Gadgetzan on the 50% coin flip, are people playing that over Zombie Chow? And then... Because generally what happens with these sort of, like, when an RNG card comes in and replaces a solid card, you go through this period of... There's now a 50-50 split, then the pros pick one, and they'll usually justify it either way, and they generally go with the RNG card because they want to try something new. Then the RNG card either goes well or fails, and the people who are looking for an actual 1-2-3 go back to Zombie Chow. The people looking for a 1-drop then just kind of go off their own anecdotal experience and maybe design some heavier decks, which is good for the meta. And then everyone else just kind of maybe falls back into Zombie Chow, but it's a weird cycle. It can come and go. And then obviously this might be another expansion that we can look to. There still was... I know they were talking about playing around with the 2-1 taunt or 1, which I was looking at. And I mean, there's always oh, that's a good card for a shaman. There's always the case of the target dummy, which we see very little of, but might get played eventually. Who knows? Warrior not really feeling threatened. Gets a Horton Keeper. Bootsy's probably gonna smile. He's staring at a Jessica. He's staring at a Deathspite. He's feeling good. He's hanging loose. He does play Whirlwinds, so... yeah, spin me right round, I guess. As Bootsy's probably saying. Maybe not knowing the connotations to that, but... This is looking good. I would say, though, that we are gonna see... Judging by the fact that he does have a lot of 6-drops in his hand, and that Jessica Drew Hardy is equivocally the worst one, we're probably going to see either, yeah, the Bash play, or I would have said maybe a Shield Master would be the worst one. It's just that you generally don't, like, even though she's not like Ember the Thorson in that she has an immediate effect, she's really there to make all your future plays better in the way that, you know, you now armor up successfully and get 4 health, which, like I was saying in the reopening match, can mean that the Shaman just kind of runs out of damage, which can happen. This is particularly a deck that plays a fair amount of board clear. That heal minion is actually more of a problem than I think maybe Bootsy realizes, but he'd feel pretty safe with the Bouncing Blade for anything scary. But again, Shaman doesn't care. Shaman gonna Shaman, always have 2-drops. And that heal thing's gonna keep out execute range. Woohoo. This would maybe be a turn for Jessica, although 5, 6, 4 minions... it's only 18 damage of Bloodlust. But he could get Bloodlust double Rockbiter for lethal. Which would make Bootsy cry. I would cry if somebody did that to me. I don't think it's just judging from what I've seen of this Shaman deck, I don't think it plays Bloodlust. But, I mean, you know, Shaman Resurgence starts with Bloodlust, I guess. Choosing it a Bouncing Blade, I'm not sure whether I agree with that. Although I guess he's looking for maybe the whirlwind play here. Which I think is alright. Very lucky that could have gone. That could have just been like a 0-2 dying there. So Bootsy definitely getting the better RNG. But not that the Shaman's particularly phased. He's looking at a warrior that doesn't have any card drawer. Maybe doesn't have Justicar. Might not have any answers for his big threats other than BGH, but his reply is pretty weak. Ugh. Anyway, this is a Justicar turn. I feel like this is a Justicar turn.
Welcome to the grand tournament.
And now the game gets slow. Woo! Oh man. But yeah, Justicar, one of those cards that people said was OP. They definitely predicted the warrior plays. Hasn't seen it in many other decks. Shaman definitely one of the weaker classes. Warlock potentially one of the classes we might see it in the future. Rogue is not unbearably bad, although there's cards that do it cheaper. Interesting enough, Paladin, another deck we might see Justicar.
I have no time for games.
I don't see a lot of it, yeah, on ladder, but I don't play super high, so I guess maybe it's kind of misunderstood at the lower ranks. We'll definitely feel its effect here, but it's hard to say whether. Yeah, even though it's the heart of the deck, it's hard to say whether, you know, we're thankful that it's around and replacing Patreon or not. A pretty good Brawl turn here. He can always go for the combo Brawl Bouncing Blade, because it leaves 1 minion, which means you're guaranteed to kill it. But I don't think we can see that. I'd probably, most likely, we're going to see an Armor Up. And maybe looking to get a Gorehowl out at some point. Shaman, if you didn't realize, is playing it pretty slow. He knows he's still got another Brawl to get through. I'm not sure whether I agree with that. But he did know that there was a second Bouncing Blade. There's usually Warrior playing double of all their removals, so it's not usual to drop everything, spray and pray, so to speak. Yeah, so if you're wondering why this Shaman's playing with 6 cards and only doing this, it's because he's trying to bait out some of the stronger cards from Warrior.
Death does not scare me.
And Warrior's just happy to get full health per turn. Problem is though, if this does go to fatigue, Shaman pretty much guaranteed loses. There's not a lot that he can do against a warrior that won't feel fatigued for like 7 turns. I'll be interested to see whether Bootsy. This is a point at which when you're playing these fatigue decks. I used to play a lot of fatigue rogue and fatigue druid and things, and fatigue mage. It's where you're looking at using a card like your burn, your Gorehowl. Are you looking to play it aggressively? Are you looking to, you know, use it to take out minions? Because he's got a choice here where he can save it for a finish if he thinks that he'll get enough tempo with a Shield Maiden or a BGH, for instance. Or he can use it to just start slaughtering stuff. And I think that's kind of a definitely what sets apart, particularly against like decks like Shaman, decks like not Rogue. Well, actually, yeah, Rogue's one of them, where they're not playing a lot of minions, and you're kind of forced to go on the aggressive. Yeah, it's one of those situations where it really comes down to player judgment on this one. I think he's made the right choice though. But again, I'm saying that without seeing a lot of Shadowfox's deck. Bootsy could be on the ropes here if Shadowfox is able to get a good minion out of this, deal with the Gorehowl. But he doesn't know it. He doesn't know it yet. So we'll see. Totems for days. I'm not actually sure how the interaction between the Tuskar and a hero power work. As in, if Tuskar summons a healing totem, for instance, does the Shaman now be enabled to summon a healing totem? I know that Tuskar after hero power can double up totems. I'm just not sure if that's how it works. But we'll see. I guess we'll see. Warrior pulling out the Baron Geddon. I'd say that we're going to see the second Hex come out of Shadowfox, or he was playing a Lava Burst, so I can't imagine he's going to let that live for too many turns. Yeah, definitely the right play here. It'll be interesting to see whether Bootsy plays the Grommash. There's been a lot of decks. There's been a lot of decks in, particularly the Fatigue Warrior variants, that do play a Grommash as a kind of 4/10 removal as compared to the Ice Owl. I don't know, I guess, you know, we could see the situation, like I was saying, where the Warrior switches over the aggressive and suddenly he's not using his Grommash for clearing, he's just going face. Again, Shadow Fox playing it really slow, making sure to totem every turn. Kind of waiting for the warrior to just kind of run out of stuff. Once the Gorehowl starts getting blunt, I'm going to call it blunt, but once the Gorehowl starts getting blunt, we can have this situation where he starts getting a little bit of trouble in that he's now got like a 2-1 weapon or something. I don't think it'll matter too much if he were to draw a Death Spite from around, not this turn or the next turn, but the one after. He has, however, like 55 health, so deck status, deck check, 9 cards for Shaman, 11 cards for Warrior. And yeah, a waiting game. Pretty solid. He's been pretty good with these Flame Tongues. I think there was an earlier one that maybe wasn't the best play in one of the early matches, but all in all, these Flame Tongues have been working out for him pretty well. Choosing here to use a Lailing Storm. Maybe thinking about the positioning of the Sludge Belcher here. I'm curious as to why I thought that was a mistake. Bash, one of the new cards that I like. I like Bash. I was kind of hoping it'd see some play somewhere. I remember playing as that card, Flameheart, in the Blackrock playthrough, and really like the mechanics of that. As boring as it is, it's just... I feel like maybe that's what Warrior's needing to kind of get it out of this extreme... It's either heavy control or it's playing some like flashy combo deck. I know Blizzard have been kind of working on Rogue in that way, where they've given them a lot of kind of mid-range minions. But regardless, we do see Ysera come down. Ysera Awakens, one of those cards, like I was saying, can be used to kind of push the lethal here. He does have 13, 18 on board, so all he need is... all he need is a charge minion. Grommash would end the game, or Ronin Grommash, or Rag could end it. A lot of cards here combined with Ysera. Ysera Awakens that could actually end this game pretty quick if the Shaman's not on the ball here. That's fine though. Chisholm used Rock Bait on himself, which is maybe a bit of a choice play, but I guess, like I was saying, he's not super scared of the Warriors' burst output. Unless... Unless we're playing like the Amazon patch and there's like a Grim Patron splash with old War Song. In which case you just hate yourself and we tweet Blizzard, but I think it's fine. Both decks kind of slowing down. Maybe Shadow Fox looking for some card draw. Probably not really caring either way. He's going to have 4 totems out. I think again, this is kind of... I like this kind of Rainbow Totem thing. I think I like seeing Shaman when it's got kind of the full hero power on display, because it kind of does show that it is one of those classes that weirdly ramps up in the way its hero power works. You know, you're getting a taunt, you're getting spell power, you're getting a heal, you're getting a 1/1. That's pretty strong. Like if somebody said my hero power is do nothing for 4 turns and then summon this, you know, I'd play that class. Choosing here to not do a hell of a lot, the Warrior. Doing a bit of clearing, not that the Shaman really cares. That Gorehowl down to 2-1. 5 cards in the Shaman deck, 7 in the Warrior. Again, if this does go to Fatigue, you would need... Oh, I should start working this out, shouldn't I? So, Warrior doesn't care about Fatigue for 7 turns, I said. Yeah, so if the Warrior hero powers now, and it goes to 7 turns of Fatigue, he'll have an insulation of 34. So he'll be basically on the Shaman's health. So Shaman would just lose in 7 turns. And that way, well, Shaman would have... Shaman would have 5 turns? 4 turns. 4 turns to basically win.
I have no time for games.
And their Share Awakens doesn't make it easier either, because that actually means that the Shaman's going to be going... Yeah, he's again got 4 turns pretty much to beat a Warrior who won't lose for 9 turns. 10 turns. Oh god. I don't think we're going to see a brawl here just because it plays into Sylvanas too well. We could see an Execute coming out with a weapon attack, or even Whirlwind Execute. Maybe looking to save the Whirlwind for something,
So many choices.
or he could just ignore it all, because the Sylvanas doesn't technically die. Yeah, I don't mind that play. I guess at this point, when you're a warrior with 4 cards in your deck and 60 health and a brawl in your hand, you're really trying to maximize that brawl. You're looking at the Shaman's only got 6 more cards. At worst, that is 6 minions. Because again, the warrior doesn't care about the 1/1s, because they only do 10 damage in 10 turns and he lives. I would save that. I would save the brawl. Yeah. I hope he saw that. Yeah, he's got, so the warrior at the moment has 1, 2, 3 points of removal against the shamans. Well, that card's never getting played, so
Well played.
shaman's 4 cards pretty much. So even if the shaman played perfectly, and somehow got an Alakalier to live as his last card, oh dear, that Deathlord's big biz, because it means that he can now pull out the...
Closed out of cards.
Yeah, that's not good. So, yeah, it doesn't matter. It's game for warrior. The shaman would need those to be the 4 strongest cards in the game. So he would need Neptulon, Alakir, and then some crazy patron play to have minions that will threaten the warrior for 10 turns. So it's done. Yeah.
I can take the hit.
It's a pity. I think Shadowfox and Bootsy know it. Shadowfox being a good sport, trying to get as much info on Bootsy's deck. You can probably just look at the net deck. Yeah, Bootsy moving through. Bootsy taking names. Bootsy cleaning house. Bit of a long game there. Not that we didn't see it coming, obviously. That's just how Warrior works. You know, it gets to 60 health and then we chill out. I'm kind of happy this tournament's cruising through, but it's been fun. Bootsy moving through to what's looking like round 3. I might actually have to go down and cast the lower brackets. I'm going to stay on Bootsy for a bit, take a quick break, get a coffee. I implore you to take a coffee as well. I'll put on some Oliver Nelson again, and I'll talk to you guys in probably 3 or 4 minutes. But yeah, that was round 2. Bootsy taking out Shadowfox with a rather long, fatiguing warrior game. I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. Ooh, that's sick transition.